Elisabeth, talk to us about how you've seen humor used in what you do.
I mean, I think so. The interesting part is when you think about having hard conversations, what is the hardest part? Starting them, right? And if you have, a structure to do that. And, so one of my mentors, he constantly says, people like us do things like this. And when I'm inside of a company, essentially helping them reconfigure their culture. What we tend to need is people like us do things like this. And that's a structure for how we have conversations, how we create, how we make decisions, how we deal with conflict, how we do things, right? And when you think about what makes you able to have address some of these difficult issues, if you can make fun of yourself and how much you sucked at starting that conversation, if you can make fun of yourself and say hey, we have this brave framework that we know how to do, but I just didn't do that. I didn't follow it. Can I have a do-over? Wait a minute. And to your point, the more you can be self-deprecating, the more you can just be humble about growth is hard. I'm a leader. I'm always growing as a leader. And if you can make fun of yourself as you're growing, you make it easier to course correct, and 2, you make it easier for the people around you to be oh, they're imperfect, but they're trying, meaning I can fail and I can get up and keep trying too. So I think humor is just an integral part of growth and leadership and culture and making it okay to fail.
That's I bring that up when I talk about with my teams about humor. You got to be okay to fail. You just brought up a great point because, and I'm not. Your elephant joke was awesome, but the ability to look, I made a bad. My joke bombed. It's that getting over that fear and showing that vulnerability of hey, even I don't tell the best dad jokes, for example. That's a great use I've never thought of the failure of humor going over sometimes as a leader can be, hey, at least I'm taking shots on goal and I'm trying to make this fun. And showing that vulnerability is huge.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good it's the gateway drug to vulnerability, right? If you can make fun of yourself, you can start outing yourself, and it doesn't have to be. I mean, it could be a deep, heartfelt thing, but if if the only way you can muster to do it is to laugh at yourself and laugh about it and be wow, this is bad. Wow, that was embarrassing. If you can do it with a smile, it actually makes everyone around you feel more comfortable with it too. I mean, until you can take on the persona of, doing it, more seriously or whatever works for you.
Well, that's super interesting. So I'm typically an introvert, meaning I can talk to people, but I get tired after in big crowds and stuff. But I just had an epiphany based off of what you said, in that that's a great way to even start a conversation, right? I hadn't actually, I don't know why, I hadn't actually thought start with a joke. Even a bad joke will disarm somebody to start that opening conversation.